One issue that could decide who voters put their trust in at the Iowa caucuses, the economy. Over the past year and a half, the trade war with China has hit Iowa's biggest industry directly. Now many farmers are struggling to make ends meet. That's not the only economic issue plaguing the Hawkeye State. NBC News senior business correspondent Stephanie Ruhle has more.
Iowans get the all-important role of being the first to weigh in on the Democratic primary. And while issues like climate change, immigration, and health care are certainly important and will be considered on February 3rd, it is all about the economy when it comes to the top priority in a state that's definitely struggled over the last few years. But it's not all bad. The unemployment rate dropped to 2.4%. That's a historically low rate. And the housing market is strong. Over 71% of people in Iowa own their own homes. They're number one in the nation for affordable housing, and foreclosure rate is less than 1%. It's a pretty good picture. In Iowa, agriculture is the number one industry driving the state's economy, and farmers have had a tough couple of years. The president's trade war with China, coupled with rough weather conditions, which means a bad crop, has left farmers in a really tough spot. And despite a $28 billion farm aid package designed to help these farmers offset the losses caused by the trade war, we saw 44% of farmers say they struggled to even cover their costs in the last year, and there was a 24% rise in farm bankruptcies. But despite that, many of those farmers who voted for President Trump in 2016 still support the moves he's making, the spirit of what he's doing, and they're going to be sticking with him in 2020. When it comes to gender pay gap, there's no good news in Iowa. This state ranks 40th out of 50 states when it comes to gender pay gap. Women there make $224 less every week than their male counterparts. But the real money issues in Iowa are savings accounts, or lack thereof. Nearly half of Iowans say they don't have $400 saved in case of an emergency. That's a situation no American wants to be in.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.